To our very first story, Ghana has made gains in improving access to water in many parts. On paper, 80% of Ghanaians are supposed to have access to water, but 3 million people in the country are still grappling with access to potable water. As the world marks World Water Day today, Joy News' Justice Baidu visits the northern regional town of Paljini, where villagers share water sources with animals because of lack of good drinking water.
We cannot use this water to do anything. This water has a lot of clay in it. When we drink it, it affects our stomach. Even if we treat it, we still can't drink because it's very bad.
For rainy season there is better, but for dry season we can't get water from this because the water is no good, but we are drinking it like that because we don't have choice, and we don't know the place we get water, so that's why we are taking it like that. But we are suffering for drinking it always because we are getting sickness, a lot of sickness from that drinking that water. If we drink this water, we are complaining our stomach, running diarrhea, a lot of sickness, and we can't use even washing. You can't use this water for washing, to wash your clothes because it will make your clothes more dirty.
Now moving to the Upper West region, residents of Tumu in the Sisala East districts of the Upper West region are drinking from contaminated water sources, including the absence of a potable water there. For over 8 months now, the town water system has not pumped water to the residents due to huge debts owed the Volta River Authority. The Tumu Water and Sanitation team is owing the VRA an amount of 1,800 Ghana cedis, forcing the VRA to cut power supply to the facility, thus disabling them to pump water to residents. The residents now depend on the benevolence of individuals who drill and mechanize boreholes for sale of water. However, those who can't afford share the Tumu Dam with animals. My colleague Rafiq Salam reports from Tumu.
Water is just as important to our bodies as it is to life on earth. At birth, water accounted for nearly 80% of the body weight of a human and accounts for as much as 70% as the adult body. Similarly, nearly 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered by water. To cut in short, water is life. That explains the reason why the people of Tumu in the Sisala East District capital of the Upper West region will do everything to get it. With a population of a little over 20,000, they primarily depend on the Tumu town water system, which was constructed 9 years ago to cater for at most 10,000 people. The water system is facing several challenges, key among them being their indebtedness to the tune of 100,800 Ghana cedis to the Volta River Authority, forcing the latter to cut power supply to them. Assembly member for Nonyo electoral area, Wuto Mahama Bawa, who also doubles as a member of the Tumu Water and Sanitation team, parried the blame of the indebtedness on the doorsteps of a private operator. Assembly member for Nonyo electoral area, Wuto Mahama Bawa, who also doubles as a member of the Tumu Water and Sanitation team, parried the blame of the indebtedness on the doorsteps of a private operator.
Looking at the debt accumulator is very huge for us, 100,086 Ghana cedis. And when we took it over from the private operator, that's where this bill was accumulated. But it was postpaid. In fact, the private operator is TBL Resources. And because they were not paying all the bills, handing over was poorly done. And at that time, so we have realized that is the challenge. So what we are trying to do is to make sure that as a water and sanitation team, we try to see how we can defray that bill. And that is becoming difficult. But currently, the bill has come down to 78,000 Ghana.
For over a month now, there have not been a scintilla of drop of water from the standpipes here in Tumu. The hardest hit area is Nonyo Zongo, which is one of the densely populated areas in the town. They have over 5,000 people, and they have no choice than to look elsewhere for their precious commodity. Middle-aged Hausa porridge seller Harriet Abdul Karim is worried about the situation.
It is
Away from the Upper West region now to the Western region, where Justice Beidou took a trip to the Pra River, one of Ghana's largest water bodies, to find out how illegal mining is killing aquatic life and putting many fishermen out of work. Here's his report.
The Pra River, one of Ghana's largest water bodies, meandering through lush cocoa farms across 4 of the country's regions. On its banks, illegal miners, locally known as Galamsey, are hard at work.
All along the course of the Pra, hundreds of machines like these in the background work day and night digging for gold from underneath the water. None of the boys I've met here would agree to speak with me on camera. But in private, they tell me the work they do here is a choice between life and death. They run into the hundreds. But the real people who pay the price for the havoc they cause are in the thousands, possibly millions.
And the people bearing this brunt are not far away. Just a few kilometers downstream, I've come to see some of them in Anlo Beach, a small fishing town in the western region. To see what impact Galamsey mines have on lives here, I've spent more than 5 hours watching 33-year-old Komala casting his fishing net. He's been fishing in the Pra River for more than 10 years. For him, he says, times have never been this tough.
We used to get a lot of fish. Now, if we cast the net, we only get rubbish. Even today, I cast a net and got nothing. Life is getting tough.
After 5 hours of waiting to bring out the nets, this small fingerling is all we get. Instead, there's a lot of waste in the net.
During the washing of the gold into the river, the mercury, which is used in refining some of the gold, has destroyed the water, not only the mud, because the mercury getting into the water increases the high turbidity. So the chemicals kills the germs, or maybe let's say the fish species in the water. And the estuary or the river serves as the breeding habitat for most of the pregnant fishes. They come and they lay their eggs here. So if the chemical, if there is high increase in the chemical, it destroys some of these eggs that are being laid down.
The mud from the Galamsey makes it difficult for the fishes to lay eggs. The fingerlings can't grow. Now people are also cutting the trees from the river, and that is making things worse.
More than 5,000 people live in Anlo Beach. 90% of them depend on the river for a living. They are not alone. There are hundreds of such vulnerable communities nationwide now reeling under the horrors of Galamsey. Government's response has been more lip service and very little action. As Ghana head to the polls, many voters, including those at risk of environmental hazards like Galamsey, will be waiting to see how those seeking to lead plan to address this menace. Justice Beidou, Joy News, Anlo Beach in the Western region.
Now let's stay a while longer on water-related issues, but now to the capital, Western region, Takoradi, where the Ghana Water Company Limited is currently rationing water among some residents, a situation that people are not too happy about.
2 months now, I think the water supply has become a challenge to us here in Sekondi, Takoradi, most especially Fiekuma. When you have it in the weekend, that is Saturday or Sunday, it will take you like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before you get another water supply. So it is not easy for us at all.
I stay at New Takoradi, and then the water problem there is very serious. Sometimes it goes for like 3 weeks, 1 month, no water. And then we have to trek to far places to fetch the water. If you don't have money to take a car, even if with a car, how many gallons are you supposed to take? Or can you take along with you? It's very appalling.
But what is accounting for the rationing of water? Communications manager in charge of the Central and Western region zones of the Ghana Water Company, Nana Yao Barima Bani, explained that some 5.7 million gallons of water is lost daily due to droughts, leaving the company short of treated water to distribute to residents of Daboasi and its environs, the Sekondi Takoradi enclave. The Ghana Water Company Limited, in a move to ensure residents are supplied with water, resorts to rationing in the region, with many residents left without the commodity. Mr. Barney, however, is hopeful the onset of the rains will provide enough raw water for treatment and onward distribution. He spoke to my colleague Mama V. Oswabuaji earlier on News Desk.
Because of the period within which we are now, that is the dry season, we are unable to get enough raw water inflows to our abstraction point or our intake points to be able to abstract for treatment. And the result of this is that we are now producing an average of 3 million gallons of water a day from Daboasi. And then we are also producing 1.3 million gallons average daily of water a day from Inchaban. And so between the two of them, you realize we have lost about 5.7 million gallons of water a day. And this is the amount of water that we should have been able to use to serve the Sekondi Takoradi. And because we don't have enough water going around, there is the need for us to find a way of distributing the water such that each resident or each customer has a fair share of the available treated water. Without rationing, what is going to happen is that if we leave the water to just flow, find its own level, it is only those customers whose houses or premises are in low-lying areas who are going to get the water, because there isn't much pressure in the line. For that matter, those at high points are not likely to get water because of the dry season that we find ourselves, and other factors that also contribute to the reduction in the amount of water in the. I'm sure very soon we will enter into the rainy season. Once the rainy season comes in, we are hopeful that we will get enough water in the basin to abstract for treatment.
So what is the situation on the continent in terms of water coverage, and how does that affect development, especially in countries like Ghana? Here's the world water coverage in numbers.
Water. It's life's most basic need. But there's a water crisis in our world right now. Seriously, a crisis. Nearly 1 billion people live without clean drinking water. It's happening all over the world, especially in developing areas of sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America. It's a water crisis because it starts with water. But water affects everything. Education, health, poverty, and especially women and children. Let's look at a family caught in the water crisis. It's likely they live on less than $1 a day. When they're thirsty, they can't just turn on the faucet for a nice cold glass of water. They don't have a faucet. Instead, the women and children go off to collect water. Many walk up to 3 hours a day to the nearest swamp, pond, or river to gather water that's been sitting out in the open, exposed to all kinds of germs. Time spent gathering water is time they can't spend learning to read, write, earn an income, or take care of their family. Some women in sub-Saharan Africa spend more time collecting water than any other activity they do in the day. And the walk isn't just hard, it's dangerous. The women are alone and burdened with 40 pounds of water. Many get hurt. Sometimes they're even attacked. When they make it home, the little water they've collected isn't clean. Some families know their water is contaminated with germs that cause diarrhea, dehydration, even death. But what choice do they have? Kids, especially babies, are affected most by these germs. About every 19 seconds, a mother loses one of her children to a water-related illness. And each day, almost 1 billion people are living this way. Until they get a little help. The water crisis is solvable. There are solutions. Some are brand new and innovative, like water filtration systems. Some are age-old, like drilled or hand-dug wells. These solutions bring clean water much closer to the people who need it. A safe water project near a village restores hours each day to a person's life. This time, it's opportunity. It's freedom to go to school and get an education, to work or start a business, to raise a family. Africa alone could save 40 billion hours each year. That's the entire annual workforce of France. Clean water means less disease. That's less money spent on medicine, which means more money for books and school uniforms. And if the water project is built near a school, it can increase attendance, especially among young girls. The water crisis is vast, but we can solve it. Just $20 can provide one person with access to a clean water project in their village. And this will mean more than clean water. Because water changes everything.
You're still watching News Today on Joy News. We'll take a quick break. We'll return with some more stories. Do stay.